Hey y'all, so I guess you guys heard the news. I am a Nomi pattern designer and I'm so excited. Let's get into all of it. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Raven Maureen, and not only am I a Nomi pattern designer, I'm also a YouTube content creator and a garment sewist. Y'all, this is insane. I know this ain't me. Y'all, I am so excited. This is something that I've had to keep under my hat for like 9 months. So the process started, like the concept started back in January. There were talks, and one day Mimi reached out and she was like, "Hey, I need you to submit your sketches." And I was like, "Okay, like what time, or like when do you need them?" And she was like, "Noon," and it was like 9 a.m. Um, so I had something whipped up. I had a concept and an idea in my head, and I submitted it to her along with a couple of other different sketches because I wanted to give her some options. And she really loved my first choice, which was the tuxedo blouse with the pants and the cummerbund belt. So a little bit about the pattern. So a few questions that a lot of people have been asking me: when does it come out? What's the pattern number? How do I get it? So this is Nomi pattern ME 2104, and it should be out in stores around like the first or second week of October, and it'll be on simplicity.com as well. So to start, it does go from sizes 8 to 26, and this is 3 views. So you have view A, which is the women's tuxedo blouse, which you can contrast with fabric and colors and really get creative with it. You have view B, which is the pants. And then you also have view C, which is the cummerbund belt. So view C, I just want to go back to view B. View B, I love these wide leg pants, and y'all, I've been wearing these wide leg pants all summer. No lie. So obviously the blue pair was my sample pair, which I still have in my closet, but I actually made a white pair of these, and I was like mixing and matching those with like almost every single outfit. There probably wasn't a week that went by this summer that I wasn't wearing those white pants. They're good. So I love these pants. And then the cummerbund belt, which just kind of brings everything together. And so I really like the cummerbund belt. This was something that I wanted to make it really like that tuxedo effect. I feel like this is the cummerbund belt is quintessential tuxedo. And I actually took extra care with the details of this because the men's cummerbund belts are actually very, very wide. And so I wanted to consider the frame of a woman, and I wanted it shrunken down a little bit more, and so we did that. Yeah, those are just a few details of some of the things that we did behind the scenes to really make this pattern really great. So I am very, very excited about it. I just completed my sew along for it, and I'm excited to share all the details with all of you and to take you all step by step. I will be making a pattern review for this as well. I think it's important that you guys hear the details from me, and I'm someone that at this point I've made the pants 3 times, I've made the belt twice, I've made the shirt twice. I know my pattern. So the other question that has come up is like, so this is like one of how many? So I will say that I have my spring pattern is already in the can. It is done. And just to give you like a brief timeline of things. So we started having conversations in January about me becoming a Nomi pattern designer. I submitted those sketches. Then around, I think it was Memorial Day weekend. I'm giving you like a very, very condensed version of how the process goes, but you literally have like a week to sew up your sample. So I do recall that it was like Memorial Day weekend that Joe and I went out to the Mississippi Archives building, and we took those pictures. And I think it was like mid-June, we submitted our sketches for spring. And what was it? What was this last holiday? Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend, I was sewing up my sample for my spring pattern, and I've already submitted those photos. It's in the can, it's good to go, and I really think that you guys are going to like the spring pattern as well. Somebody did ask me if there was going to be a tuxedo jacket, and there's only so much that'll fit in a pattern envelope, and I truly mean that. My advice to anyone that wants to add a jacket to this, there are countless blazer patterns out there that you can choose from that you can actually pair with this pattern, and I plan to do that myself. So I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it. I guess we can talk about the inspiration behind this pattern. So it's definitely a little bit of Marlene Dietrich. It's definitely a little bit vintage. It's definitely androgynous. And it's also definitely something that I didn't have in my closet. And that was the most important thing to me. So I remember back in college, I actually had a tuxedo shirt, and it was from J. Crew. I loved it. I wore it probably every time I had to do like a PowerPoint presentation. It was wonderful, and it even had a little bow tie with it. And I used to pair it with like these really cute black slacks, you know, millennial business casual, just all the way down. And I don't know where that shirt is. And I know even if I knew where that shirt was, it don't fit me no more. And so it was really important for me to almost recreate this shirt for myself and more or less have it back in my closet for me. But also, this was a pattern specifically that I did not see in the sewing pattern world for women. And so I wanted to create this for us. And so that's really where the design and the inspiration came from. And through my research of things, I found that it really has more of a vintage and timeless background or history to it. Like I said earlier, Marlene Dietrich, and even almost like a Katharine Hepburn-esque type thing with the wide leg pants and whatnot. And so definitely putting on the entire outfit really made me feel like confident and powerful and like I can do anything. And that is exactly how I want all of you to feel when you make this pattern. But you guys know that nothing changes on this channel except for more content, more information, more delight, more fun. And now I really feel like I can just like exhale and let out a sigh of relief, because I really feel like I hadn't been able to tell you guys anything. Like, there were times that I was vlogging and I would watch it back and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like my samples are like right there for them to see. And I'm like, let me go ahead and blur that out. So I was like blurring things out in certain videos. And there were certain times where I felt like I wasn't consistent with my content here because I was meeting deadlines and doing other things. And I mean, it is what it is. I was handling business, but now I just feel so much better just having, I wouldn't even call it a weight, but just like letting you all know, like, this is what I've been working on for the last 8 or 9 months. And I didn't even want to like say, hey, I'm working on a project, or hey, I'm doing this. I didn't even want to say it because some of y'all were like asking me just randomly out of the blue if I was going to be a Nomi designer and stuff. There was, I did like a Ask Me Anything video in the beginning of the year. And I think it was like 1 or 2 people were like, hey, are you going to be a Nomi designer? And I was like, I'm going to pretend like I didn't see that question. And then when I was at Frocktails, now this one is really funny to me. I was at Frocktails and a girl in our, or a lady in our community, she was talking to me, and I had like a plate of food, and her and I, we were just talking very casually, and I'm pushing the food around in my plate, and she's like, hey, are you gonna come out with one of those patterns? Y'all, when I tell you that fork went from the plate to my mouth so quick, and I was like, what are you wearing? Like, I literally switched the subject so quick because I couldn't tell a lie and I couldn't tell her yes. So I just switched the subject and, shoveled food in my mouth. Like, like I was a barbarian or something. But I can't tell you how good it feels to have this out now. And I'm hoping that this is one of many. And I can't wait to tell more stories with clothing and designs, and to just keep empowering all of you to make beautiful clothes and to have just the utmost confidence in yourself, and to just keep encouraging you all to sew the way you guys have encouraged me to keep going, even though I have faced my own haters, adversity, lack of confidence, whatever. So yeah, I hope that you guys will enjoy this pattern as much as I have enjoyed making it, as much as I have enjoyed designing it. I just really hope that you all will enjoy this pattern so much. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Can we just talk about how paranoid I was to even like share this information out? Like, if I didn't see you in person at all this summer, you were not getting this information. Um, I literally would like hold up my phone and like show my friends and be like, this is G14 classified. Don't tell nobody. Like, I literally was like, see it? Okay, I'm putting it away. Because I was just nervous, and just, it doesn't feel real, and so I was super nervous about that. And then the only person I did not tell in person was my mom. And I had actually FaceTimed her, and I never FaceTime my mom. Like, normally when we communicate, it's like through text or just like phone call or whatever. And so I had FaceTimed her, and like, I can tell that she thought it was other news. And so she was like, I'm set. And I was like, Mom, I'm coming out with a pattern. And she was like, a pattern, not a baby. And so I'll put it to you like this. I am really glad that like Joe's mom sews, and she understood like the weight of that, versus my mom, who was like, a pattern, okay. Like, she didn't really, it didn't click at first for her. So what I ended up doing was, I was like, okay, how can I explain to my mom, who doesn't sew, that I'm gonna have a pattern? And what I ended up doing was, I ended up making a second pair of my pants. And I had been wanting white pants for a minute. And so I was like, you know what? I want a pair of wide leg pants. I'm going to do this. And so I wore the white pants on the trip in June. And I said to my mom, I said, Mom, this is my pattern. And it clicked for her finally. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, so what does this mean? So I explained to her what it meant and everything. And so it finally clicked for her. And so last Friday, fast forward to last Friday, and she calls me and she's like, oh, I'm so proud of you and everything. And she's like, now I got to figure out, how to sew. And I was like, well, you could start with my pattern. And she's like, she's like, maybe something a little simpler first. And I was like, no, I'll have a sew along. And she's like, is that going to be on my day off? And I was like, no, not specifically. I was like, you could pause it, you could fast forward, you could speed it up, you could stop, come back to it later. And she was like, okay, like very suspicious of the sew along process. But I say all that to say, my mom finally got it. My dad, it clicked for him right away. Like, he understood everything. Joe's family, Joe's mom and his dad, they were excited when I told them in person in June. But it's been wonderful sharing the news with family. And honestly, like, it was literally just a handful of people that knew for most of the year. And then, everyone's got like a family group chat. So Friday morning, I sent the links to the post to the rest of my family and all the group chats and stuff, and kind of explained to them what it meant and everything. Because, not everybody sews, not everybody understands like what is a pattern or what this would mean. So it was a bit of explaining to some people, but it was still a really wonderful feeling. So I'm glad it's out.